Hi, my name's Katya, and today we're going to talk about Gamestar Mechanic class projects. Class projects are game design challenges that you can customize and assign for your students. So I've logged into Gamestar on my premium teacher account, and I'm going to go to the workshop. In the workshop, I'll scroll down to the classes section and click on class projects. So far, I haven't added a class project, so I'm going to click on add new project. Here's the project catalog. Right now we have 8 projects and we're going to be rolling out more, but this is the starting selection. So on each project you can click on the View button. This button tells you a little bit about the project and also gives you links to a preview of the full project and a lesson plan. I'm going to click on the lesson plan. Every project has a lesson plan. This lesson plan gives you a little bit of an idea of how to structure this project in your classroom, and also a little more information on to help you decide whether this project is a good fit for your class. I'm going to go back to the catalog and click on View and then Preview and assign a project. This is the preview of the project. This is what your students will see when you assign them this project. There's an About This Project section, a project goals section, and a project games section. These games show students the kind of games that they will have to create to submit an entry to the project. And there are also games that give a little more information about the concept of the project. So as a teacher previewing the project, I can try out playing a game. I'm not going to play the whole thing for you right now, but you can play it from here. In the Preview and Assign section of a project, you can customize your own instructions. So I can write something for my class. Hey guys, here's a project about the elements of game design. You can write whatever you want, something specific to your class, and save it. You can also customize the due dates for your project. I'm going to say that this project begins on Wednesday and ends a week from Wednesday, and save this. It's important to note here that if I want a project to never end, I can edit the project and click on Never. This means that my students will be able to submit a project at any time. I can also edit the title of the project. This project is called The Elements of Game Design. I'm going to call it Katya's Class, Elements of Game Design, and save. From here, I can move on to Step 2, Project Settings. In the project settings, I will click on Yes or No to allow draft submissions. That means that a student who hasn't finished their game yet and their game is still a draft, when they save that game, I can still see the game even though they haven't yet submitted it to the project. I can also choose to allow late submissions, meaning a student can submit a game after the due date. I'll say, yeah, that's okay. I can message students when the project begins. This means a student will receive a message in their workshop saying that they've been assigned a project. I can also receive a message when a student submits their project. I can get a message in my Gamestar Mechanic workshop, in my email and my Gamestar workshop, or not at all. I can remind students about the project before it's due. I'm going to say here that yes, I want to remind them only one day before the project is due. And finally, project visibility means that in the project itself, students will be able to see each other's entries after the project due date, or always see each other's entries, or never see each other's entries. One thing to note here is that if a student submits a project, even if I click Never Show Entries within the project page, if that project is submitted, it is a published game, and a student or anyone will still be able to find that game in Game Alley. So I'm going to save my settings. Okay. And move on to Step 3, Assign the project. Here's a list of all the students in my class. I can select all of the students, select none of the students, or I can select specific students that I think are ready to take on this project. So I've selected a couple students and I'm going to assign the project to them. Here I see the students I've selected. The date submitted. They have not yet submitted their project, so they don't have a date. Entry status is incomplete because they haven't done it yet. Once they've submitted a project, I can give them feedback right here. So I'm going to say, good job following project guidelines, for example. I can save my feedback. Evaluation is a space where if you need to grade your students, you can give them a grade. In this screen, I can also add students. Let's say I forgot someone and I want to add another student to the project. I can assign that student to the project and they become part of my assigned students list. From here, I can go back to the lesson plan that we saw before, the project settings and change the settings at any time, and the project page where I can edit my instructions, the due dates, the title of the project, and also read about the project and play the project games. If I go to My Projects, I see the projects that I have assigned, the number of students that have completed the project, the due dates, and I can also delete this project if I want to get rid of it. From here, I can add a new project, I go back to the project catalog, and I start again. Now let's take a quick look at what students see when they are assigned a project. So here I'm a student in the class. I've logged in to a student account and I'm in the workshop. If I scroll down to projects, I can click on the project that's been assigned to me by the teacher. Here I read the instructions that the teacher wrote. I can read about the project and see the important dates, and I can play the project games that we looked at earlier, read the goals of the project, and My Project is where I create a project. This is a project that I've already created for this challenge. Since it's before the due date, I can still edit my project. And if I make any changes, then I can resubmit the project. Down below is where I received the feedback from the teacher. I've passed and I did a good job.